Hello and welcome to a not so awesome review, and today we are looking at the Dragon Ball Z Figurized Standard Legendary Super Saiyan Broly Plastic Model Kit by Bandai. If you guys want to take a quick look at the box, here it is. It is a bigger box than I think any of the Figurized kits. Bigger than Cells, I want to say, just by a little bit. Not as hard to build, so don't be discouraged about the size. As you can see here, all of the runners and everything, the parts are just bigger, which is why we have a bigger box here. Does come with some stickers, which is for the earrings on both faces and for the tongues on the two other faces it comes with. And yeah, now that we got that out of the way, the figure, I gotta say, I really like this figure. There are some things that can be a little bit annoying, but price point $55, so not too cheap, not too expensive, but considering the figure arts goes for I believe over $100, and I want to say its release price was really expensive too. So great alternative. It will stand a little bit big compared to figure arts, as you'll see in a little bit, but it's Broly. I mean, he's huge anyway, so I really don't think it'll matter in your display if you want to put him with your figure arts. And articulation wise, he's pretty good. Few hindrances here and there. And before we get into that, I do want to talk accessories. As you can see here, he does come with some stuff, not too much, but two things that I wasn't expecting. I mean, I was expecting after I saw the release photos, but I wasn't expecting Bandai to actually do just period on these figures, and that is first and foremost these faces right here. Goku kind of, let's see if I can focus this. Goku in pain right there. You can see I painted the tongue instead of putting the sticker on there. I probably should paint the rest black around it just so it looks a little bit better. But I need to be careful not to get it on the teeth or anything. But that's besides the point. You can see the face. Looks good. Goku kind of just screaming in pain. Vegeta kind of, well, in pain but not screaming like Goku. Just putting that out there. And they're nice faces. They look good on the figures. Unfortunately, I don't have a Super Saiyan Vegeta to show you guys. But I do have a Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, which, same body mold, so let's really quick just get that out of the way here so we can get on with the rest of the review. The Vegeta face right there looks good. If you wanted to paint that blue and use it for this figure, you totally could. There's really nothing stopping you, especially since you can take out the gold piece and just replace it. Not replace it, but spray paint that or hand paint it, whatever you guys choose to do. Without getting it on the skin color or teeth or anything. And the Goku, which I do have the Super Saiyan version, and you can see here, it looks good. I do like this. I really hope Bandai in the future releases a action figure like accessory pack for Goku, because we're getting a lot of the same body molds. I believe every Goku except for Super Saiyan 4 is the same body mold. Same with Vegeta. Granted, there's only two. Same body mold being reused. Same hands, more or less. Updated effects and stuff like that. But it would be really nice if Bandai would release a kind of expression pack, kind of how DC did with the Batman Animated Series figures. It'd be cool to see a set of different Goku faces, different Goku hands, and different energy effects, and maybe like an alternate belt. I would really like if they did something like that. Alternate stickers for the different, like Hame House and all that stuff. But anyways, that is besides the point. Broly here, as you can see, comes with his two fists. And he comes with two, you can, I guess, call grabbing hands / energy attack hands. Wish there was more. Again, they don't really do much when it comes to hand accessories. And he has a peg thing for his back if you guys want to put him on a stand. I will be getting a stand on the weekend probably. I just decided to not pick it up with this, but I will be getting one. And, I'm pretty sure he'll hold up to it. Those stands seem pretty sturdy. Of course, talking about the flight stands for Bandai model kits. I'm not talking about the figure arts. I forgot what they're called. I have them. I said the name of them earlier, but you know, the figure art ones with the little clip thingies, definitely not those ones. I don't think those would be able to hold him just because of the awkwardness of how you would have to kind of tie it around him. But yeah, that's besides the points. He does have two faces, the smirking face, as you can see on him right there, and this yelling, almost happily yelling, also angry face. It has like a really good like evil tone to it. I really like it. There's really nothing bad to say about it. It is really good. And the smirking face, let me just pick him up so you guys can get a closer view here. I just think that is beyond awesome. That just looks so good right there. Of course, I did not put the stickers on for the earrings. I'm planning on painting that, but man, that honestly looks really good. And let's talk about the looks. Obviously, it's a model kit, so you know, for people who are into having their figure shaded and colored all good, you don't get that with this. You just get the straight colors. If you want shading, you gotta do it yourself. My recommendation is using alcohol-based markers, not necessarily Copic markers because they're expensive, and I don't believe it's worth buying a $7 to $8 marker for this. Granted, if you have it because you're into doing different art, I would say try it out. Maybe try it out on one of the extra sprues so you can see how it kind of works, how it flows and everything. Definitely keep a bottle of rubbing alcohol and some Q-tips handy so you can wipe away excess. Though this is what I really like about those markers, is that you can blend in the colors really good. I will be doing that to this figure, and I will have a separate video talking about customizing your figure and making it look as good as you can. Gluing things down, maybe some things that for people who are just starting out getting model kits, maybe this is the figurized figure that you've been waiting for. You don't care about any of the other ones. There'll be a video about that hopefully up this week. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, aesthetic wise, you can see the gold on him I think looks really good. It does have kind of a marbling effect on it a little bit, which it happens when it's kind of gold plastic. I don't know why, but I've seen that happen plenty of times when it's kind of that like shiny plastic going on there. As you can see, he does have these like little shiny blue orb things. Definitely be careful with the one on the necklace because I did drop that. I found it pretty easily, thankfully, but it's really small and definitely something that can get lost. The red on it, really nothing to say there, just basic red. The white on it, clean white. The skin tone looks good. The hair, though, I want to say, here, I'll use the Vegeta as an example because you can see, they kind of go, well, I guess his is more metallic than anything, and it looks good. It's not bad. Broly's is metallic. I would love to show you the hair for Goku, but I actually spray painted mine a while back and then went over it with a marker to make it look darker. What I'm getting at here is, usually they do kind of a not great looking hairstyle. Sometimes it doesn't look good. It just, the see-throughness I don't like. I think it would be cool to add an LED in there somehow, but I don't like. But Broly's hair looks amazing. It's the right color, like lime green. It's just, if you just take a quick look around, the spikiness of it, it looks really good. Though, there is some splitting here. It's not in perfectly. Definitely one of the parts that you're going to want to glue in because, let's face it, it's a model kit. Pieces tend to kind of come apart a little bit. I know one of the biggest complaints was Goku's legs kind of being easy to come off, or more rather his feet than his legs. But if you actually glue the orange piece to the boot, do that without having the pieces attached, just glue that part together, it'll actually stick in a lot better, because what happens is when you're moving the leg around and stuff, this part tends to get loose and ends up popping off, and that's why his foot would pop off. So just a heads up for anybody who's having that issue. That said, the figure itself looks awesome. His little necklace thingy is attached to his skin, in case anyone's wondering. It's not like a hanging piece. Of course, this like satchel type thing, I don't know what it's called, is hard plastic, and it's probably the most annoying part of the figure. One thing I do want to mention is that his articulation, although is really good, is limited because of it. Though there are workarounds, and his ankle rocker is limited because of the way they kind of did his feet. It no longer has that kind of little peg that, you know, Goku and I believe Vegeta has too. That little long peg there. Now it's more of just a ball peg. But if you're willing to get down to it and kind of stand things away, you can actually give him a better ankle pivot. Though the one he has, as you can see here, is not too bad. And at the very least, the ankle rocks inside. But we'll get to that in a second here. Let's just take a quick look at the articulation. You can see the head doesn't really look up on its own. Even with the neck piece, it doesn't move, and that's mostly because of the hair. Kind of to be expected. But if you put his torso up, he can look up, though you get this gap here, so, you know, just heads up on that. But, you know, he can look up if you really want him to. Looking down, his head, well, looking down, his head does kind of move right there, but not too much. But with that neck right there, you can look down a lot. And yeah, I have no problem with that. I really like the neck joint on there. He can pivot his, whoop, see, that's one of the things is that comes off pretty easy with the hair. But you can see he does have a pivot right there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up gluing this part down, even though it does have kind of like the tab for the face, which I guess now would be a great time to switch out since it flew off. So let's move that one to the side, grab his yelling face, and just like any other figure, you just kind of put it in. This one you kind of slide up and in. In a way, it could be useful to not glue down the hair, though I think it's still doable with the hair like in, because I did it earlier. Just a little bit harder to do it from behind the camera, but yeah, like I said, he can tilt his head side to side. He can rotate his head, but it kind of stops around there, which you're not going to really want to go more anyway. It's mostly his jaw getting stuck right there to the back of his muscles, so there's that. For his arms, he does move up that far, and one thing you might want to see here is the joint right here on his bicep. It moves in, so it does a good job of, like, you know, here it is, it looks good, and then when it has to go up, it kind of goes over it and hides it. So that's kind of a neat design they went with there. He does have a butterfly joint, which if you've seen the product pictures, he has his muscles back here, and they kind of just spread out with that butterfly joint and give him just a little bit more range, not too much. And like I said, his arm goes up about that much, which isn't too bad. More or less standard. I mean, I believe the some of the figure arts can't go up higher than that either, so that's pretty good. He does have a rotation up here, not bad. His elbow joint could be better, but because of the giant muscles, you know, it goes there. It's good enough for me. I have no complaints on that, and there is no swivel at the guess what is that, a gauntlet, I guess. And of course he has a ball peg for a fist hand thing right there, so nothing new there. Like, I do kind of want them to add hinges just so we can have a little bit more give on that, but the gap between it is really not bad considering the older, like, Goku right here. You can see the gap is definitely a lot more noticeable. With the Broly, it really isn't all that much at all, so I think they did a good job there. For his upper, I guess, torso area, he, like I said, he can bend forward really well, or pretty well anyway. He can bend back a lot. Again, there's that gap, but it's still a good bend right there. Can twist side to side if you want, which is awesome, and it does have a pivot. So definitely a lot of articulation up there. This is where I was talking about is kind of annoying in a way, and I'm sure somebody out there, I would do it myself, maybe I will at some point, but I'm sure somebody else out there is probably thinking the same thing. Replace this plastic thing with fabric, and it will be so much better. I mean, it falls off. Like, this back piece is loose. From the moment I put it on, it was a little bit loose. You know, it stays in there, but as you can see, it does tend to fall off. It does move up all the way, and again, fell off. So you push it too much, it will fall off. Moves outwards a little bit. Same thing with the sides, they open up like that. The front one can move up and down and just look really weird like that, but you know, I guess if he's powering up and the air around him is doing that, I guess, yeah, cool. There's the little hole for the peg for the stand, in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this particular part of the figure, just because it does hinder articulation a little bit. If you want his leg to go out, you're going to want to first do the pull down thing. They are the pull down legs, and then go like that, and you're going to need that up to do it. You can see he can kick pretty high up, and I did get him to stand earlier on something that wasn't even like a good flat surface, so let's see if I can do it again without having to you know, let's see if I can do it in a good pose, because I'm sure if I move his arm out, the weight distribution would work, but let's see. Doing this slowly, moving my hands. But as you can see, it is possible to get him in a standing pose, and that's actually pretty cool. Lower that down, lower that one down, and let's see if I can do that without actually knocking him over. Come on. Come on. Stop rocking. Yeah, like I said, it's possible, as you saw a second ago, but it is a little tricky. Do definitely recommend getting a stand for it. So, at least if you want to do anything like that. But yeah, his leg can kick out that much, which is really good in my opinion, especially since it has that kind of hindering. But like I said, you have to pull down his leg. But the cool thing, I guess, if you want to make him taller, I'm just going to leave that off right now. You can pull his legs down and then kind of hide that gappage. So in case, like, you already know he's huge, but you want to make him way bigger, you know, you don't see the gappage down there. So there is that kind of benefit of it hiding it. As for kicking forward, let's see if I can do this. Move that, kind of have it even, and then move the leg forward. So that's pretty straight. And if you want to kick it more up, it does do that kind of like going out to the side, but it still works. Knee bend is pretty good, but I feel like this could have been bigger. They definitely had enough room to kind of cut around the plastic here, make that shorter, make this joint just a little bit bigger so it fills in a little bit better, because there's a giant gap right there, which I'm not a fan of, but you know, for what it is, it's not bad. There is a little bit of a rotation up here if you want to do that, but not too much. No rotation at the lower leg right here, and his pivot, like I said, he doesn't go outwards, but he does pivot inwards just a little bit, which is because of this giant ball peg right here, which is why he can't really do much. But honestly, if you went around and shaved off right here just a little bit, he'll be able to go out a little bit more. If you want to do that, be able to go out a little bit more. Did that with myself so he could stand up straight, because the way his legs were, the plastic didn't let him stand up, you know, just standing up straight. So yeah, getting his legs back in a little bit challenging right now. There and there. Overall, he's definitely a cool figure. You know, you can get him into some other poses. Like, you don't have to do anything like fancy with like his legs in the air or nothing like that, like kicking. But getting him to some really cool poses isn't that hard to do. As you can see, want to maybe take off that hand, put on, sorry, just I think move the camera with my arm. But yeah, getting him into some like pretty cool poses isn't that hard. I think the figure itself is really awesome, and I highly recommend it. I was lucky enough to get mine. I believe it's Japanese release date. I'm not 100% sure, but been released a few days before in Japan. But either way to guide it, I get my stuff from. Got it today before Amazon has it and stuff, so I'm happy about that. Got it earlier than I thought I was going to because of him, so hoping he's going to be getting more stuff early so I can be doing these reviews a lot more earlier than usual. I like it. I definitely recommend it. It's a pretty easy build. Like I said, don't let the box intimidate you. It's still a pretty simple build. Definitely easier to build than Cell was, because Cell had all those kind of gated parts where you layered two pieces over each other. This guy, bigger box because it's a bigger body, and don't really have much else to say about it. Let's just do some height comparisons here really quick. Like I said, biggest inconvenience is having to work around this bottom part, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world, so definitely recommend. See if I can, if he's standing up straight so we can get a pretty good accurate height thing going on. Getting his legs, I've noticed getting, like, especially his left leg for me, getting that one in there perfectly so he's standing up straight. A little bit difficult. You can see the other one isn't even in, but yeah, definitely something I'm going to look into is making this out of cloth. If I do, you know, just check out my Instagram or my website, notsoawesome.com, which I am going to be posting a lot more on, especially with this whole YouTube kind of demonetizing channels. I'm definitely going to be using that platform a lot more than I have been, and a lot more did. You know, basically the amount I should have been doing since the beginning, but, you know, we'll see how things go. We have the figurized Goku here. As you can see, Broly still definitely does tower over him. I'm gonna end up falling back a little bit because he's leaning. There we go. You can see height-wise. Whoa. There we go. You can see height-wise, he's definitely a lot taller. Which, you know, is the case, but he's not so much taller. I feel like this would be the same kind of height difference with Cell as, like, in the show, like how he would have been. I feel like Cell is still a little bit shorter, the figurized figure. Anyway, I feel like he should be just a little bit taller compared to the figurized Goku. Definitely too tall for the figure arts, but I'm sure, you know, for the price point, that Cell is pretty good for anyone who wants to mix and match your collection. So height comparison with a Marvel Legend, you can see towers over it, no problem. And obviously, because he towers over everybody already, when you want to put him up against a figure art, he is definitely a lot bigger. A lot bigger. I mean, that Goku is almost half the size. I say from the shoulders up, you know, if you remove Goku's head, you could fit two of his bodies on there and he would be as tall as Broly. Again, super villain, if you want to call him a super villain, big guy, definitely can go in your figure arts collection if that's what you want him for. And I'm assuming, honestly, that that's what a lot of people are going to buy it for, so definitely, in my opinion, workable. Looks good. Once you have him posed good, I think it'll be great on your shelf display if you want to take your, you know, pictures with him and everything. Definitely recommend him. It's a fun build. It's easy, like I said. There's nothing. Don't be scared or intimidated. I will be posting a video of going through, kind of not detailing him, but maybe things you want to do. As you can see, there's a little bit of gappage right here. You can see a little bit of the seam lines down here. And I've been practicing getting rid of my seam lines. You know, there's a slight comparison really quick. You can see the Vegeta's boots, the one on the left. I used some plastic cement to kind of get rid of it. The one on the right I haven't done yet. But you can see the difference is pretty good. Even if I didn't get it perfect, it's still really good. Same thing with Goku. Did my best to get rid of as many seam lines as I could. Not a perfect job, but still better than nothing. Anyways, that is my review for the Legendary Super Saiyan Broly Figurize Standard Model Kit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, and definitely check out my website down below, my Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff, especially with this whole YouTube thing going on with the smaller creators. I'm unfortunately one of the ones getting affected by it. Like 1,000 hours short and 52 subs short, so there's probably no way I'm going to get that by next month. A lot of the bigger creators are telling people, get Patreon. I might do it. I'm not expecting anyone to, join it. I'm really not. Like, realistically, I'm just not expecting it, especially since I'm not the most consistent person on here. I'm going to try to be, but, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, that is my review for this. Thanks for this. I can't even talk. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.